Welcome everyone. Welcome to the grave marking ceremony for Robert Adam, David Black, and John Dundas. My name is John Thomas Reimer, and I am the president of the Fairfax Resolve chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution. Scott Walker, president of the George Washington chapter, and I will serve as your masters of ceremony for today's program. In the annals of American history, the Fairfax Resolve stands as a beacon of courage and defiance, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to challenge tyranny. Today, we gather to honor a signer of this important document, John Adam, whose unwavering principles laid the foundation for our nation's fight for independence. As the dark clouds of oppression gathered over the American colonies, Robert Allen stood tall, his voice echoing with the fervor of a people yearning for liberty. The Fairfax Resolves, adopted July 18, 1774, stood as a clarion call declaring the colony's steadfast determination to resist the unjust and arbitrary acts of the British Crown. Robert Adam lent his voice to this chorus of dissent, his words resonating with the urgency of the moment. We are also honoring the memory of Revolutionary War service of David Black and John Dundas. David Black served as a drummer in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th New York regiments. John Dundas rose through the ranks of the Philadelphia militia, serving as an ensign, a private, an ensign, and a lieutenant. These men risked everything to stand against the tyranny of a distant government. In the face of threats and intimidation and the deprivations of wartime service, they remained unyielding, their unwavering belief in the principles of liberty and self-determination serving as a beacon of hope for generations to come. I'll ask that Scott Walker come forward and give his opening.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon. And thank you for coming out to honor these three patriots of the American Revolution interred here in this sacred ground. I'm Scott Walker, president of the George Washington chapter, Virginia Society, Sons of the American Revolution. The Sons of the American Revolution was founded in 1889, which also marked the 100th anniversary of George Washington taking the oath of office as President of the United States. The charter was established by an act of Congress and signed on 9 June 1906 by SAR compatriot President Theodore Roosevelt. It is the largest male lineage society in the U.S. and consists of 50 societies with more than 500 local chapters and several international societies with over 33,000 members. Prominent members have included 16 U.S. presidents, Winston Churchill, and King Juan Carlos I of Spain. All members have proven descent from either someone who provided military service during the cause for independence or provided material or financial support to the cause. Patriot ancestors are both male and female. The objects of our society are to be patriotic, historical, and educational. Today, we are furthering two of these objectives by memorializing these patriots and recognizing their contribution to the founding of our great nation.
Thank you, Scott. I would now recognize Olivia Mitchner, President of the Board of Directors of the Presbyterian Cemetery in Columbarium, for her report.
Thank you. Good morning on this beautiful spring day. On behalf of the Board of Directors of this gorgeous site, I'd like to welcome you. This is consecrated ground, and we are happy to have you be part of honoring people who are buried here. One of the things that the board has done is to be very smart in how hired David Hybe as our superintendent, who has a love of history, as you've all learned, and loves this place. So, David?
Good afternoon. My name is David Hybe. As my esteemed president said, I am the superintendent of this hallowed ground. I want to welcome you here on this gorgeous day. I want to thank both chapters, the Fairfax Resolves and the George Washington chapter, for participating in this event. But I also want to thank a couple volunteers who made this event possible. I think if you look around, you'll see how wonderful the grounds look today with the blooming trees, the wonderful tulip magnolia, which is the state champion. But none of this would have been possible had it not been for a few volunteers. So I'm going to read a couple of their names, and I hope that you applaud at the end. The first person I'd like to recognize is Mark Ledlow. Mark, are you around? I know I saw you. Mark has done a lot of archaeology work on the plots today. That'll be an honor today. And he actually found the actual grave of Captain David Black. That's an amazing thing. Also, Sue Ellen Morgan. Raise your hand, Sue Ellen Morgan. She has worked with the Patent and Trademark Office, but she has a new job when she retires. She's going to be planting flags for Mark when they find a grave during a GPR session in a cemetery. Also, I'd like to recognize Jonathan and Maria Davis. They were the ones that cleaned every one of the stones of those who are going to be honored today. So those folks are the ones that made this day possible. One more person is not in the program, Richard Twitchell. Richard, raise your hand. He helped with the parking today. So on behalf of the Presbyterian Cemetery, thank you all.
Thank you, Olivia and David. I would now ask Larry McKinley, former chaplain of the Fairfax Resolves chapter, to provide the invocation.
Thank you. And thank you, God, for this wonderful, beautiful day. We give you our humble praise for the gift of the United States of America, for the vision of our patriot ancestors, and for thy continued preservation. We have freedom today because you have guided and directed the leaders. Provide us with inspirational words. Point out the pathways we must take to educate our citizens, and give us the courage to inspire the communities we live in as we maintain and grow the freedoms of our ancestors and that they have earned for us. Indeed, a real danger to our liberty is that we might not teach, communicate, and demonstrate to new generations of Americans a deeper love of country, a loyal respect for its Constitution, and a reverence for our flag and its institutions. Father, I must attribute this next guidance to you, even though Admiral William Halsey, Bull Halsey, to some of us, said, "There are no great men, just great challenges which ordinary men, out of necessity, are forced by circumstances to meet." Please be with us as we honor three men who experienced those challenges and sacrifices. They are buried here. Robert Adam, who signed a Fairfax Resolves document 250 years ago, this July 18th, along with two other patriots, David Black serving the New York regiments and John Dundas serving in the Philadelphia militia. They helped us stay on the road to independence. May they have the grace of eternal peace while we hold dear their sacrifices. Amen.
Thank you, Larry. The colors will now be presented by the Color Guard from the Virginia State Society. Our Color Guard commander today is compatriot Jim Portis. Color Guard commander, advance the colors.
Front time, march. Halt. Left face. Present arms.
I will now ask Jocelyn Wilson, Treasurer of the Virginia Children of the American Revolution, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Carry colors. Post colors. Carry arms. Right face. Front time march. Forward march.
Thank you, Color Guard. Let's have a round of applause for the Color Guard. I will now ask compatriot Tim Diakino, Secretary of the Virginia SAR, to lead us in the SAR pledge. The pledge is in your program.
Compatriots, if you can join me. We, descendants of the heroes of the American Revolution, who by their sacrifices established the United States of America, reaffirm our faith in the principles of liberty and our constitutional republic, and solemnly pledge ourselves to defend them against every foe.
Now I would like to extend a warm welcome to our special guests. First, representing the National Society Sons of the American Revolution, Treasurer General Michael Elston. You'll get a chance in just a second. Thank you, Mike. Virginia SAR past presidents, Larry McKinley, Michael Elston, Bill Swetke, and Jeff Thomas. Virginia SAR state officers, Darren Smith, Darren Smith's the second vice president. The secretary is Tim Diakino, and the historian, Tom Rowe. The Virginia DAR District Director, Nancy Hill, and the state co-chair of DAR, SAR, and SR Relations Committee, Anita Bonner. I haven't seen Anita. Oh, there's Anita. Virginia CAR Senior Society President, Ann Cabri Forsyth. Ann? Virginia CAR State President, Nora Stupp. Virginia CAR State Treasurer, Jacqueline Wilson. Virginia CAR Historian, Emily Hopkins. And Virginia Brigade of the Descendants of Valley Forge, Commander Holly Lynn McKinley Smith. I would also like to recognize Paul Walden, Graves Chairman of the George Washington SAR chapter, and Jeff Thomas of the 250th Committee Chairman for their help in planning and coordinating today's program. I would now like to take this opportunity to ask that our Lineage Society presidents offer greetings. Mike, now you have an opportunity. This time.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the President General of the Sons of the American Revolution, I bring you greetings, and I'm also here to commend the outstanding work of the George Washington and Fairfax Resolves chapters of the SAR. The George Washington chapter is my home chapter, and we've been in the cemetery for many, many years, marking the graves of patriots who are here. If you haven't seen it, sort of in that corner, there's a plaque. I was here for the dedication in 2008 that lists all of the Revolutionary War soldiers who are buried here in this historic cemetery. And I can't say enough about the Fairfax Resolves group and the outstanding work that Jeff Thomas and his compatriots have been doing to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Fairfax Resolves, an important founding document that doesn't really get its due in the pantheon of documents. But Jeff and company are making a change to that, and I think it's a great thing as we prepare to commemorate the 250th anniversary of our independence. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Fairfax Resolves. Thank you, George Washington Chapter.
Darren Smith. There's Darren, Second Vice President, Virginia Society, Sons of the American Revolution. Darren.
I would first like to thank the George Washington chapter and the Fairfax Resolves chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution for this near perfect day for an event like this, as well as the amazing turnout, but also for their efforts to coordinate and host the event today and the opportunity for me to be here to bring greetings to you on behalf of the Virginia SAR State President Bill Grief and the over 2,000 members of the Virginia Society. As a historical, educational, and patriotic organization whose members trace their lineage back to the ancestors that supported the cause of the American Revolution, it's with great enthusiasm that I am here to support an event that honors those ancestors for the benefit of future generations. Honoring our patriot ancestors isn't just about marking their graves, it's about serving our communities and country in ways that honorably reflect their sacrifice. President Grief's theme this year highlights our organization's recessional statement that begins with, "Until we meet again, let us remember." So let us remember these patriots today and the many others that gave us this great nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Now I'd ask that Nancy Hill, District Director of District 5 of Virginia SAR.
Good afternoon. It is a beautiful day today for such a wonderful ceremony. I'm Nancy Hill, the District 5 Director for Virginia Daughters, the AR, and we have 16 chapters within District 5 and over almost 1,750 members. So that's quite a nice crew we have here. We have several people joining us today. We'd like to thank you for inviting the daughters to join you in your celebration today. Very, very good. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Now I would ask that Nora Stuff, President of Virginia CAR.
Are you sure?
Good afternoon, everyone. Senior State President Ann Cabaret Forsyth, several state board members, and I are so pleased to bring greetings this beautiful afternoon on behalf of the 500 members of the Virginia State Society of the Children of the American Revolution. I'm always honored to join SAR events and include CER in honoring those American patriots. Thank you. Special thanks to the Fairfax Resolves chapter and George Washington chapter for including us today. Congratulations on this meaningful ceremony. CER is so thrilled to be here today. Thank you.
And now, Holly Lynn McKinley-Smith, Brigade Commander, Virginia DBF.
Quite a long day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be here today to represent the dozens of members of the brand new Virginia Brigade of the descendants of George Washington's Army at Valley Forge. We just chartered in 2023 on October 10th. Take a little pride in that being my Patriots' birthday. but I would love to know if any of you all are members of the TVF. I know I have a couple out here. Feel free to raise your hand. There you go. Wonderful. And so many of those members are members of the Fairfax Resolves chapter. So I'd like to personally thank them for their participation and partnership along the way through our chartering process, as well as all of these wonderful events, our 250 events coming up. Thank you all for having us here today, and we look forward to many more. Thank you.
Now I would call on compatriot Jeff Thomas, Chairman, National SAR History Committee, to tell us about the life and times of Robert Adam. Jeff.
Thank you, John. Today we dedicate a plaque to Robert Adam, the signer of the Fairfax Resolves and member of the Fairfax County Committee of Safety. Adam was born in West Kilbride, Scotland in 1731 and migrated to Alexandria around 1753 as a local agent for a Scottish mercantile firm. Over time, he became one of the leading merchants in the new town. The image you see today on the front of the program was commissioned by the Washington Masonic Lodge and is based on a small 18th century metal engraving of Adam that was discovered only in 2010. The full commissioned oil-on canvas painting of Adam hangs today in the George Washington Room of the Lodge. According to his biography and the official original records of the Washington Masonic Lodge, Adam lived in a pleasant country residence in Fairfax County, about 4 miles from Alexandria. He was a gentleman of refined taste, cultivation, and wealth, and interested in everything that could promote the prosperity of his adopted home. Adam was involved in many enterprises. According to a history of the Alexandria waterfront published by Historic Alexandria in 2010, Adam operated a wharf, warehouse, grist mill, store, cannery, iron foundry, and bakery during his life. In 1758, he opened the first tannery in Alexandria, which remained in operation through the colonial era. And in 1763, he formed a partnership with John Carlisle, which contracted with George Washington to buy all of the wheat produced at Mount Vernon over a period of 7 years. And between 1764 and 1767, Washington's wheat production grew tenfold. Adam and Carlisle set up grist mills on 4 Mile Run above Alexandria to process the grain for an export business to the Caribbean. In 1770, at the end of the 7-year contract, Washington entered into a new contract with Robert Adam, in which Adam agreed to buy all the annual yield of herring and shad from Washington's fishery at Posey's Landing. And as David Hybe notes in his wonderful biography of Robert Adam on his blog Gravestone Stories, this venture was incredibly lucrative for both Adam and Washington, with Washington even surpassing the earnings from his farming efforts, as he managed 3 commercial fisheries along the 10-mile shoreline of his estate. Adam was an owner in 3 ships, which he used to export flour, fish, and other goods to the West Indies, and from there, he carried products to England and imported large quantities of rum, molasses, sugar, and limes. And between 1766 and 1773, his ships carried goods to Barbados, Liverpool, London, Scotland, and Madeira. In addition to his economic activities, Adam was active in local political affairs. He served as an Alexandria town trustee for over 20 years, starting in 1756 and ending in 1778 during the war period. And in 1758, he also became a Fairfax County Justice of the Peace, serving in that position for the rest of his life, according to Alexandria historian James Munson. In addition, from 1765 to 1769, he served as sheriff of Fairfax County, and it was during this period that Adam was also appointed a captain in the Fairfax County Militia in 1768. During this period, he also began to actively support the protest against British policies leading up to the American Revolution. He was a signer of the Virginia Association of 1769, a non-importation agreement authored by George Mason in response to the Townshend Acts. And in 1774, in response to the Coercive Acts, George Mason again put his pen to paper, authoring the Fairfax Resolves in consultation with Washington. Adams signed the influential document which outlined the constitutional rights of the colonies and called for the collective actions of the colonies to implement a trade boycott of British goods. Adams became part of the resulting Fairfax Committee of Safety, and following the formation of the Continental Association, a few months later, became instrumental in enforcing the agreement in the local community. I love the way David Hybe says it in his blog, that Adams' involvement in this dramatic early statement of American liberty demonstrated both his convictions and cemented his status as a local patriot leader. The onset of the Revolutionary War had an immediate impact on Adams' business. He had dissolved all of his business partnerships by 1776 due to declining business. He did what he could to support the burgeoning war effort, providing supplies and provisions. In 1777, the British captured a cargo ship en route to him from Boston, and in 1782, he lost a brand new vessel, the St. Patrick, and its cargo. In April of 1778, Adam wrote to his friend Washington in the field, "I cannot help observing to you on our declining business and the embarrassment of our affairs. I settled my partnership business and took upon myself the payment of all debts due from the concern and was determined you should be the first paid. I can with great truth say that I have been in no kind of business since these times commenced." He concludes by sending my most earnest prayers for your success, welfare, and preservation through this most important struggle, and may you live to enjoy the blessings of peace, liberty, and domestic happiness at the well-improved seat of Mount Vernon. The man had a way with words. In 1783, as the war concluded, Adam was elected the first worshipful master of the Masonic Lodge in Alexandria. And a year later, in June 1784, the records of the lodge show that Adam welcomed His Excellency George Washington, and by unanimous consent admitted Washington as an honorary member. And from there, the lodge proceeded to John Wise's Tavern, where they dined and spent the afternoon in Masonic festivity. I can only imagine. On June 16, 1789, the last will and testament of Robert Adam was proved in Fairfax County Court. He was 58 years old. He names his wife Anne, sons John and Robert, and daughters Mary and Jane. His son John would follow in his footsteps, becoming the worshipful master of the Lodge of Alexandria. Signer Robert Adam is named on the Adam family obelisk over to my left, where we have placed his plaque. The obelisk, which was installed in the cemetery sometime after 1909, wonderfully documents the Adam family history. It reads, "In memoriam, within these sacred precincts lie the departed members of the Adam family. John Adam, eldest son of Robert Adam, first worshipful master of the Alexandria Washington Lodge of Masons, grandson of the Reverend John and Janet Campbell Adam of Kilbride, Scotland." Archaeologist Mark Ludlow, who was introduced earlier, a board member of the Alexandria Historical Society, used ground-penetrating radar here last month to document that indeed 22 Adam family members are buried near the obelisk. Their gravestones mostly lost to time. And in closing, David Hybe again says it best in his blog. Adam's impact on Alexandria was significant, spanning business, community, and politics, firmly establishing him as a pivotal figure in the town's history.
now ask David Harity of the George Washington Chapter 250th Committee to come forward and tell us of the life and times of David Black and John Dunn.
Let us honor the memory of Captain David Black and John Dundas, two remarkable individuals whose lives were intertwined with the spirit of the American Revolution. Captain David Black was born May 16, 1762, near Mayerton, near the port city of Montrose, Scotland, the first son of David Black and Janet Stewart. He left an indelible mark in the annals of American history. His journey took him across oceans, through battles, and into the heart of a fledgling nation. As we gather here today, we pay tribute to a patriot, a merchant, a Freemason, a sea captain, and a firefighter. A man who embodied the very essence of courage and commitment. In the crucible of American Revolution, a young David Black answered the call to arms, bravely serving as a drummer boy at a young age. For 5 pivotal years, he was part of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th New York regiments, serving under the esteemed leadership of Colonels Goose Van Shank, Philip Van Cortlandt, James Holmes, and William Allison. He stood shoulder to shoulder with fellow patriots defending the cause of liberty against tyranny. His unwavering commitment to the ideals of freedom and justice fueled his resolve. Upon the war's rightful conclusion, David Black became known as Captain David Black and sailed across the tumultuous Atlantic Ocean between Alexandria and Liverpool, England, carrying cargoes of hope and determination. His vessel cut through the waves, his sails billowing with purpose. Through storms and calms alike, he exemplified resilience, a beacon of hope for those yearning for a new dawn. Whether on land or at sea, he fought valiantly, navigating treacherous waters, facing the tempests of war. As a beacon of brotherhood, Captain Black's affiliation with the St. Andrews Society, serving on the city's relief fire company, and his dedication to Freemasonry underscored his commitment to community and brotherhood. In the lodges, he forged bonds that transcend borders, uniting men of diverse backgrounds under shared principles. His handshake symbolized trust, and his deeds spoke louder than words. On June 14, 1798, Captain David Black married Elza Mitchie of Norfolk, Virginia, during one of his many trips from Alexandria to Norfolk. He lived with Eliza and his growing family of 4 children on Pitt Street here in Alexandria, near a storefront in downtown Alexandria. Their union wove together the fabric of our nation's history. Today, we stand on hallowed ground, the Presbyterian Cemetery in Alexandria. Here, beneath the vaulted sky, Captain Black finds eternal repose. When we mark his grave, let us remember not only the man, but also the ideals he championed, the ideals that continue to shape our nation. John Dundas, 1759 to 1813. 265 years ago, John Dundas was born February 28, 1759, in Philadelphia. His lineage under noble Scottish descent, and etched his names into the annals of Alexandria's history, the man whose footsteps echoed through the corridors of revolution. His life encapsulated a dynamic blend of civic engagement, business acumen, and community connection. As we gather here today, we pay homage to a patriot, a merchant, and a guardian of liberty. During the American Revolution, John Dundas heeded the call to arms. He marched along fellow patriots, his heart aflame with the ideals of freedom, as a member of the Philadelphia City Militia, first with Captain Jehu Ayer's Company, 1st Battalion. He stood up resolute, defending the cause that would shape a new nation. Next, he rose to the rank of ensign in Captain Kling's 3rd Company, 2nd Battalion of the same city of Philadelphia's militia. And once again, entrusted to a higher rank, he rose to lieutenant under Captain George Easterly's Company, 1st Battalion, 1st Company, 3rd Battalion, serving as a beacon of unwavering commitment through the war's end. His post-war life, John Dundas mirrored the tumultuous seas he relied upon for his trade and livelihood. As a merchant with his father-in-law, together known as Hepburn and Dundas, He owned interest in several merchant naval vessels, which navigated trade routes, ships cutting through the waves of uncertainty. His cargo at their storefront and warehouse held more than goods. It carried hope, resilience, and a promise of a brighter future. Through storms and calms alike, he exemplified the spirits of endurance. John Dundas was twice elected as the city's mayor, served on the city council, and was overseer of the poor. He was mayor from 1795 and 96, and once again 98 and 99. He made significant contributions to the city during his tenures. His leadership and dedication left a lasting impact on the community. Shortly after the war, he ventured south from Philadelphia to Alexandria. He married Agnes Hepburn. He and his father-in-law, William, were the merchants known as Hepburn and Dundas, as I mentioned. They acquired large acreage on Fairfax County, today located near Dumfries, in Prince William County, on Quantico Creek, near the Potomac River. He also operated a flour mill in Dumfries. Within Alexandria's borders, he held interest in ships to export grain products of his mills and owned several warehouses along the waterfront. He built a large mansion known as Dundas Castle, or Castle Thunder. One second. Near the corner of Pendleton and Washington Streets in Alexandria. He operated a cotton mill there. During these times, he and Agnes formed a large family of 10 known children and lived at the estate of Dundas Castle, today's Bank of America, at Washington Pendleton Street. His family ties. On August 29th, 1813, John Dundas' earthly voyage reached its final harbor, and he passed away and was buried here at Presbyterian Cemetery. Here he rests alongside his wife and daughter. The inscription on the obelisk stands sentinel over his plot, may be illegible, but their legacy speaks louder than words. Agnes, the wife of John, was the owner of the sacred section of the cemetery. Her hands tended the flowers that now bloom in perpetual tribute. Their union wove together the threads of history, binding generations to come. Agnes's heart echoed the same revolutionary fervor and burned within her husband. As we mark John Dundas's grave, let us remember not only the man, but the ideals he championed, the ideals that continue to shape our nation. His courage, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment inspire us still. In gratitude to John Dundas and Captain David Black, we offer our deepest gratitude. The legacy of these patriots is etched not only in stone, but also in the hearts of those who cherish liberty. May the winds that sweep through these hallowed grounds carry their spirit forward, reminding us of the flame they tended that still burns bright today. May their memories endure like the granite headstone that bear their names, and may future generations find solace in the shades of trees that guard this resting place.
Thank you, David. Now I'd like to ask that Scott Walker come forward and lead us through the remainder of the work.
Thank you, John. Will the compatriots Larry McKinley and Paul McComb please come forward for the dedication of the markers? Compatriots Abbott, Peters, and Crane, please prepare to unveil the markers.
If the past is indeed prologue, then a glimpse into the past can provide a source of wisdom and inspiration for the future. As we honor these patriots today, let us be mindful of their service to our nation, and let us rededicate ourselves to the principles for which they held sacred.
As we gather, O God, for this dedication today, we ask your blessing upon each of us. We thank you for this occasion as we honor the memory of Robert Adam, David Black, and John Dundas. We esteem their patriotism and courage, their faith and loyalty, and their willingness to sacrifice to make our world a better place. We thank each of them for America and for all patriots who have given us the liberties and privileges that we enjoy. May we be willing to serve you and our nation just as they did. May the ideals that we remember from the past sustain us today and safeguard us for tomorrow. Amen.
We, the members of the Sons of the American Revolution, dedicate these markers to the glory of God in recognition of the memory of Robert Adam, David Black, and John Dundas, patriots of the American Revolution.
Almighty God, as we go from here, may this marker remind all who pass of the devotion and dedication of all who have made our nation great. May all be humbled and encouraged by these markers to esteem and perpetuate these virtues with our lives. May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, guard our hearts and minds in the ties of friendship and the unity of love. Amen.
Compatriots Rick Abbott, Dave Peters, Forrest Crane, you may now unveil the markers.
Thank you, Larry, Paul, Rick, Dave, and Forrest. I now call upon compatriot Paul Walden to conduct the wreath presentations.
Now, normally when we're doing a single grave marking, when you come up to present your wreath, you bow or honor the patriot who's buried right next to the wreath. In this case, since we're scattered, I'll leave it up to you if you wish to bow to your wreath, even though the patriots are scattered among 3 places. But as I call your name, if you would please come up and salute your wreath if you so choose to, and then stand behind it. First of all, representing the National Society Sons of the American Revolution, Michael Elston, Treasurer General. Representing the Virginia Society Sons of the American Revolution, Darren Schmidt, Second Vice President. Representing the Virginia Daughters of the American Revolution, Nancy Hill, District 5 Director. When you walk up here, please be mindful of this soft ground right here. We've had a couple of near trips. Representing the Virginia Children of the American Revolution, Nora Stuft, President. Representing the Providence Children of the American Revolution, Jocelyn Wilson. Representing the Virginia descendants of Valley Forge, Holly Lynn McKinley Smith, Brigade Commander. Representing the Fairfax Resolves Sons of the American Revolution chapter, John Reimer, President. Representing the George Washington chapter, Sons of the American Revolution, Scott Walker, President.